Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Stalker of the Week, which is Four of Cups. If you are new here and you do not know what Stalker of the Week is, it is a collective reading I do on a particular energy that kept showing up in the weekly readings, which is Tea of the Week, right? And this week it was for the Cups. We take it out, we look into it and see what shows up of a message here. We use some oracles, which I already laid out to save the time, and then we use the tarot. Take what resonates with you from these messages, leave behind the rest, never ever force it to fit if it doesn't. And if you do like the content, please like the video. I would appreciate your support because I put in a lot of time in this and I kind of want to know if you should still do the Stalker readings or if they are of no relevance to you guys. So let's get to it here, right? Let's get to it. It is the Four of Cups. Now it shows up like this in the when I did the weekly readings, right? But when I had to find it in the big deck, it came out in the reverse. So this is interesting, just because that was also what I got from it, was this like coming out of some sort of a situation where you may have said no to love or romance or offers that may have been presented to you. You said no because you were probably focused on a little bit of a shameful energy, probably self-shaming. Let me explain that as we get into it, because as I said, I laid out the oracles already to save us the time. We have TikTok in reverse, storm warning in reverse, with deceit in reverse, and it's time to take a brief out, and we have exposed and revealed. This is an energy that screams forgiveness. TikTok here is about, you may have been in a situation where you were wondering whether or not time was running out in some way or another. It's not. It's just a matter here in terms of if you're trying to achieve something here. Don't let blockages get in your way. Don't give up, basically, right? If anything, it doesn't go according to plan, then use a better strategy here. Time is always on your side. The storm has passed. The deceit of the past is gone here. That storm that was there, the storm warning from the beginning of the month, is done, right? The worst is over. That's also what I'm getting here. It's a lot of forgiveness energy, of forgiving the past, understanding that the situation that you have been in, no matter how long it's been, it's over. Because it's time to breathe out. Let me read you this time to take a breath out here. Before I lay out the tarot. The intensity of the full moon has abated. And what are we left with? That is what this card is asking you. It suggests that the situation you're asking about has now peaked. And it's time for you to regroup and learn from your experiences rather than blindly forging ahead. Have faith in what is happening is for the best. Try to accept the way that things are right now, and give yourself and others time to relax. Breathe. We can't all be on time all the time. If you feel that you hit an obstacle or even failed in some way, now is the time to reflect on how you can do things differently next time. Be honest with yourself. If you feel bad about your current situation, then remind yourself that life goes in circles. Be okay with where it is that you know, where you are right now, and you should know where you stand. It's time to take some time here. And there's also time to share your wisdom and experience with someone else. But avoid falling into this slump. I feel as though that's where you may have been at. Falling into the slump, repeating some sort of an old pattern even. Looking for the negativity. But at the same time, there's also a healing energy here. Of you coming at some point here to terms with the understanding that this happened for you to have some sort of a shame come out. If there's been a connection here where you may have thought, it's almost like a little of an understanding here, coming to the understanding that what was probably more than what you may have at that point in time considered to be some sort of a romantic direction or something like that was probably more of a friendship, right? Or the misunderstanding of someone that you thought was a soulmate may not have been your soulmate in any way. But they were a soulmate in the sense that they could have exposed you to some aspect of yourself that you needed to look at, and they unfortunately became a catalyst because it was always about you. It was never about them. That's the context we get for this Four of Cups. It's a simple energy of saying, hey, this week you're coming out of this stagnant energy. But it's also time for things to come out into the light to understand about it. And also forgiving it. being in a little bit of an energy. There's probably going to be some point in time here where you're going to stand and be a little bit sad about it, but then it's time to release it. But let's see what we have here. It's coming out of the boredom, coming out of the boredom that's associated with having spent too much time focusing on the negativity. What do we have here? Let's just throw this in. There we have grief, and we have health. It's healthy to grieve, it's healthy to learn to let go. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Right? And patient. I accept that things happen in divine order. Now let's get more into the tarot here with the Four. Tell me, can you summarize? Show me the past energy here. Show me the past. What is the current situation past? Alright, past. It's basically what I said here. Alright. Oh, so see it here, TikTok. There's something about, not closing off the heart when something here doesn't really go as you expect. There's a fire king coming towards you. I keep getting here is there's an understanding that you have avoided building up a tower. You have avoided something that would have been very, very toxic for you. For some of you, it's actually having avoided an abusive situation of a sort. This is the indications of having escaped some sort of an abuse, right? By use, whether or not you want it. There's something here about the right decision being made. But I also get that you're coming out of this energy here, although there is still some sort of a... No, it's good, it's good. Sorry, there were too many people included in this, where we had someone being a bit too stuck on this. But I can't really figure out whether or not this is a past energy, because in the past, we do have this struggling to manifest what it is that you want. Struggling to communicate clearly as well. Struggling to get things going, right? For some of you, this is a very triggery energy, because I keep getting this ping pong between there being someone triggering you, being a trickster, like with this deceit energy here. But at the same time, it turned into something where you also pointed fingers at them, and it turned into something that was this storm. There was this deceitful energy, even deceiving yourself in some way or another. Where were you in the past? Did you even know this? Did you know, especially if this is tied up to a person, did you even know them? Did you know them? Were you projecting? Did they know you? Were they projecting? I get a lot of this deceitful situation, but it's done. You come out smarter here. And without being paranoid in it, it's liberating yourself from that so that you can move into the future. I feel as though I repeat this every time. It's been a while since we had this, right? But this is, last year I was repeating this all the time. It's because there is a situation where in the past, something here could have been unrequited love. It came quickly with passion. The love was not there. Passion was mistaken for love. Someone here was an emotional manipulator, all right? Especially in love here. Or they could have come across like that. They could have come across like that if they came seeking for some sort of a romance, and you thought they were there for the long run, and they weren't. So it could have come across like that. If you feel as though you have lost time on that, don't let that turn into a negative thought. This was meant to happen for something to come out. If any of you ever wake up one day and say, oh my god, I wasted my time chasing someone, you were chasing yourself in the process, right? So that's basically it. We read this judgment in the reverse. As the situation right now, it's a difficult one there. You in your head about it. It's still here. The energy is still here. It's here for you to release it. So with this four of cups here, it's saying you can't run away. You can't run away from going inside yourself. Once in a while to deal with this energy here, because what's being exposed are sort of shame within yourself here, right? Sometimes we address the shame we have within ourselves, pointing it towards other. I don't know. not an expert. I'm just talking shit here, I feel like. But yeah, this is being in your head about being evaluated negatively. It's easier to withdraw and not deal with people, to not take any chances. If you are afraid of being negatively judged, then just withdraw and not deal with people. That's the easiest solution, isn't it? But you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to turn stagnant. So while you are in that situation here, you're just saying no. Use that time to reflect upon yourself. Don't run away from yourself. And don't, I'm going to say something mean here, if this is for you. This time when you are breathing out and you may be sitting there going, I'm healing, be honest with yourself in that process. Are you actually healing? Are you actually doing the work on yourself? Or are you just waiting for the world to fall in place so you can come out as you are without having done the work? Because then you're going to retract all the time, and then we have avoidance issues. It's easier to avoid than to deal with the situation at hand, and in this case it shows up as not wanting to have a negative not wanting to deal with things that are negative. So you're probably sensitive, right? Yes, who are you in this? You're the Empress. So when you are the Empress, you have that Empress energy in you. You are sensitive, but please pay attention to the Empress being on the upright. So you are strong. You're not an Empress in the reverse, which is someone who bleeds off everywhere. Empress in the upright, she has her boundaries up. She has her shields up. So you are healed. So in degree, I'm not going to sit here and say if you feel as though you're not, then you're not. But you definitely have that power within you to manifest what it is that you want. Some of you may have rejected a sweetness in yourself. You're turning hard, laughing a little bit because that's something I would do. Probably go hard. It's easier just to reject the sweetness in you, because when you're sweet and when you're kind, when you care, you get hurt. But the trick is the art is to set up the boundaries. Still care. The Empress still cares, but she's not gonna let people run all over her. Right? Man, woman doesn't matter here, right? It is that understanding of taking a bloody break once in a while, but not using it here. What is that grief about? You have lost something here, because what the purpose of this was. This was to understand who really matter. Sometimes, I mean, you may even. It's like clearing out the misunderstanding. It's like finally wakening up and seeing things for what they are, and not being afraid that things are too late, because things are not too late. The only time it's too late is when you're dead, and when you don't have people anymore around. You know what I mean, right? This is for you. This shows up as it's almost like a wakening up and understanding. There was a lot of time waste. Oh, that may be what it is that you feel here, that you may have to begin with feel as though you wasted a lot of time, but you didn't waste time, right? You can tell yourself it was meant to happen this way, so you show up stronger, so that you show up as though now you're capable of appreciating real connections, people who choose each other every day. People who show up for each other. See the angel of love here and there as well, right? Angel of love, queen holding a heart. If you are a woman, this is you. If you are a man, then this is the woman coming towards you. Or woman, it doesn't matter. Anyway, there's an angel of love here, but there's gonna be some sort of a, yeah. You know what? This is the fiery. This is the end of a very tough cycle approaching, because you come into the understanding nothing is going to come of a certain situation in your life if you continue with the same energy. That's the Empress. You know this. You know you've been touched by some sort of a soulmate connection, but it wasn't the soulmate you expected it to be. What was meant what was meant to happen from this was that it was meant to touch your heart in a way where you had something exposed within yourself through this process, and now you're ready to move forward. And because here we have the Fire King coming towards you. Feels though I'm reading for a woman, but I can of course be for a man. The deceit is over, the situation is over, you're coming out, but don't come out in a way where you then retract, because the lingering energy is here, right? If you ever get triggered, know that things or something here is being exposed in you. Something that's hidden in you is exposed, it comes into the light. But with the Empress, you can love yourself, you can forgive yourself. The self-practice here, forgiving and not going backwards. This is what spiritual work on yourself is about. Is diving down deep, dealing with the shit. And it makes you stronger, because the shit will always be there. I mean, the darkness will always be there, the wounds will always be there. But when you're somewhat healed, you can still be hurt. For instance, by harsh critique, and you can still get a little bit into your head about it. But you can also, by the way, what you can do here, which you also see as a situation, is that you can, in that situation, rather than let your emotions control you, you actually, then, well, people say you can't think your way into emotions, but you actually, sometimes you can. It's just a matter here of thinking, letting your head, not rule, but letting it, your logic, your mind, inform your body here to relax in a situation where you may be triggered. Tell you, right now you are in a situation where this is triggering you. Take a deep breath. Know that this is triggering you because of this in the past. If you want to achieve this goal in the future, if you have some sort of an objective, if you want to go there, then know that you should probably respond in a way that is appropriate to the situation, and know that the person or the situation triggering you right now is not the same person as who triggered you in the past. So don't project that. That's also here, right? There's a way of combining logic with emotions, so you can control that emotional response if you were triggered in some way, which may come with some sort of critique. It comes out because someone, and in this case shows up as though it may have something to do with someone shaming you, saying you don't know how to do this or that, and you can, because you're a bloody Empress. The Empress, she can make things grow. She's kind, she's caring. She's not a pushover. And when you are in this energy, when you know your strength, you will find that not everyone will believe in you, right? So that's why you gotta believe in yourself. But without becoming an arrogant prig, and that's what you're not doing. So that's here, you can take a deep breathe out, and then remember that whatever here has happened, it's gone. You are no longer that person. You are no longer in that energy. You're coming out of that. But it's okay to sometimes also that previous energy I said about avoiding. It's rather than avoiding, take that same energy that's not about avoiding, but about then taking that step back, and then I can feel my heart doing this, or I can feel I'm starting to tick. I can feel my what do you call it, mandibular, whatever, this thing here, the jaw, starting to do something. Whatever you have identified as your physical response to a particular emotion or trigger or something. Pay attention to that and notice what's going on in your body. Try and identify the trigger, and identify the emotion, and then identify the best you can. Or remember back to your strategic goal. So go back to your strategic goal. Now go back to the purpose why you are in the situation. What are you trying to achieve? And then reflect a little bit upon is this going to be the most effective response if I let my emotions take over right now? Let's start by taking a deep breath. All right, show me this King of Wands coming towards you, and then we are done. Oh, he's going to trigger you. All right, so you're going to be triggered by some. He's actually okay. He is okay, but he can be detached, and he can probably challenge you a little bit here, right? Have trust in the situation. Have trust in the situation. This guy, who by the way is your fucking the Emperor to the Empress. Guy person, remember, I'm not talking about your soulmate coming here saving you or anything. You're saying you may be in a situation here where someone here is activating that masculine energy to come out within you, and that's also what you already have here, because when you set up boundaries, you were in the masculine. Someone here's just gonna play. They are not an idiot. They have a particular form of way of communicating with people. They like to distance themselves. This is a Venus in Aquarius. This is someone who, the way that they flirt is by being a little bit distant, actually. But it's not game playing, right? When it shows up like this, it's not, I can also get it, it's not someone who plays games. It's someone who just have a love language. It's that they like to tease. They're not a bully or anything, but it wouldn't surprise me if they could come off it. If they are with the wrong people who are very, very sensitive, they'll definitely not date this kind of person, because they are a tease. They have this glint in their eyes, but they are not mean. They would definitely own their shit if it is it, because it's just they're okay, right? But if you have a history here of being sensitive, just pay attention to whether or not they will, if they trigger you. But with these two together, the two of you could really go well together, because it's a fine balance here. It's a fine counterbalance, right? It's meant to happen this way. It's who were you with in the past? It could be the same person. Some of you weren't with anyone. Some of you were just with the dream of this person coming into your life, and here they are. They are just gonna show up a little bit different than you expected. They are not gonna have the same background as you. They are not gonna, I mean, you're going to be different in your cultures, and by that I mean you're not gonna share the same background. But you will definitely connect. This is the reward you get. And see, that's why you had to probably go through all of this. Because in order to lose something that you really want, you gotta lose it in order to appreciate it. This is even better. You lost something here. Now you're thinking more strategically. Now you're doing things far more balanced. You're not avoiding it, you're going for it. Are you going to be triggered when you then get your wish fulfillment here that you're seeking? Yes. Because now, rather than running away, you're being asked to have this dignity and grace, you're being asked to have the self-control of the Empress here. What is this? What is going to be triggered here, what's coming out into light within yourself, is the typical energy here of having accepted being gaslit, having accepted being stuck to a situation where things were in and out. It could also, by the way, having been your own impatience. It could have been your own tendency to not follow through with things. Your own self-sabotaging behaviors, they're coming out. Let them come out for them to be looked at. Don't, however, allow it, because I see here where there's a tendency of probably also, it can turn into, if in worst cases, which you would some of you may have experienced in the past, can turn into paranoia. It can turn into blocking oneself, wanting other people to recognize one because one does not believe in oneself, refusing to open up, refusing to be vulnerable. Self-sabotaging behaviors, because it screams insecurity. Right? That is the energy here that gotta be dealt with. It's gotta be exposed. But what's gonna come from that is you being very, very clear on yourself. You're going to have a self-awareness and cutting it out. Right? Especially if you get this understanding that it's not going to benefit you to not believe in yourself. I'm also seeing, gotta be honest with you here, I do sense for some of you that someone here comes into your life who is, especially if you are out there dating, and you have already a history of one particular person you already know who is, who comes in and goes out, and who is a particular fuckboy who gaslights and don't take responsibility. Try not to shame them, by the way, but because you've done the work on yourself, Queen of Swords cuts the shit out. There's not gonna be any sort of running away from not being accountable for what happened. And also, by the way, I also get here you being accountable for yourself. Let's keep getting this energy here coming up here about being accountable. Being accountable for what happened in your past. You being accountable, taking ownership for your own actions, and your own emotions and all that, and your own thoughts. Past, present, future, happening in the future, but you taking ownership of how you felt and thought in the past and in the present, and not accepting people who don't take ownership of that. We gotta own who we are, also the negative. That's the dark side. That's walking with the dark side in you, owning it, not excusing it, but owning it, saying, you know what, once upon a time I did this and I'm not proud of it, but I own it and I did the work on myself. It's called redemption. That's why we have redemption. Redemption is deciding to do that work. And as you know, if you have another person, if this is tied up to not that other coming towards you, but another, the past energy there, if that person actually do show up, you know to kick it out. I mean, the other one here was far better. I would go with that one. If this is in love, well, if it doesn't have to be love, it's just enough. Yeah. If this is a reconciliation, which it may also be, then it's taking ownership for both of your actions. Watch last week's reading for that if you want. I'm gonna call this it. I hope you got anything from it. Let's call this forgiveness. It does fall in line with last week's Stalker reading, which was that of reconciliation. This case is about owning it. Owning what happened, owning the past. It's the first step towards a proper reconciliation. It's also the first step towards a proper reconciliation of your own feminine and masculine energies, or just reconciling with yourself. Standing in your own power. And let me know if you got any from this. Let me know if I should continue with the Stalker readings, otherwise we're gonna stop them. So give me feedback, guys, please. I appreciate it. Thumbs up, whatever. So thank you. Take care. Ciao.